Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. This is crazy. Apparently, remember the Galactic Starcruiser Hotel, the big ass failure? Disney's huge failure, billion-dollar failure. Well, they're going to use it for office space now.
Yeah, so basically, if you remember, they were going to do that Lake Nona campus, and then they canceled that one as a stick it to Florida type situation. I think because they didn't want to spend the money, and they just used it as an excuse. So now they're basically turning the Starcruiser Hotel they took a big write-down on into the offices for Disney Imagineering.
Well, at least it's not Spirit Halloween, right?
Right.
There's that. But this is like the most expensive office. So everybody gets a little spacey office or something.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, I think they should keep some of this stuff in place. You can go like, I'm bored. I'm going to go, play the game on the screens now.
Play the one video game. I'm going to go jiggle some rocks on my...
Yeah.
Oh God, that sounds bad.
Jiggle the rocks.
I'm going on my lunch break, guys. I might not be back for a while. I have to jiggle my rocks. Don't do that on company time. All right, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to Clownfish Minus, help support the Reef, buy some merchandise. You can also join the Reef here on YouTube and on Locals as well. So where do we want to go with this? We want to go with the rap article, or do you want to go with Pirates and Princesses?
Let's just do Pirates and Princesses because it pretty much breaks it down. And the rap gives credit to some people I don't like, so...
Okay. So
I mean, people talk about grifters. That Jenny is one of the biggest grifters I can think of. But anyway,
let's just so we've been doing this, and this isn't to like go get into a fight with anyone, but we've been doing this for about 7 years now. And there were some people that really, really, really did not like us at the beginning. Some other Disney influencers. In fact, a couple of them have blocked you. And now they're singing the same tune that we were, that Disney has fallen off, that Star Wars is damaged. Before, you were not allowed to be critical.
Just repeating everything that YouTubers like us and other YouTubers said, but then they get credit for it. And the YouTubers who said it first don't.
Yes.
Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the article. We can use the one that was on PMP.
Okay, walk me through this.
Okay, so anybody who's been following along knows about the Galactic Starcruiser. It was their $1 billion fail that they closed in the end of 2023 because they weren't getting enough bookings. That was the one that it was like, $5,000, $6,000 for less than 2 days to go and pretend to be in the space, spaceship in Star Wars land. Anyway, now they're going to reuse it because you remember Josh D'Amaro said they were going to turn it into something else. And people thought maybe they were going to turn it into a hotel or maybe they were going to turn it into a restaurant, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But now it's going to be turned into offices. So the offices are going to be used as the hub for the new stuff coming to Disney World, including the Tropical Americas area and Disney's Animal Kingdom, the Cars area that everybody's mad about in Magic Kingdom, the Monsters Land area, which is also angering a lot of people at Hollywood Studios.
Including our daughter, who was
very upset about it.
I don't think she realized they were going to close Muppets as soon as they were. And she was last night very upset because we used to always do the Muppets and we used to always go to Mama Melrose.
And they're closing those.
They're closing it.
So I think she really wants to go back down again, and we haven't gotten to do that. So she was pretty upset. So anyway, these Imagineers are going to be working on these projects. So they're stationing them in this building. Now, for a while, they had been stationed, I believe, in what was the Wonders of Life at Epcot. But since this is taking place at like Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, a lot of the changes, they're putting them closer by putting them in the Starcruiser. And they they suggested that it might end up being a dinner theater experience, which you had talked about, where they could reuse parts.
It never made any damn sense to me why they went ahead with this in the first place. Because again, all the immersion that was promised for Galaxy's Edge, they basically paywalled it and they put it in the Starcruiser. But it's a no-brainer to do it as a dinner theater. If it's too expensive, too cost prohibitive to have people stay for a couple nights for like $5,000, then you just charge them a couple $100 to go to dinner.
Well, they're not going to do that. They already said if you go down the next paragraph, they're not going to do this. They're saying that according to there's an article on the Wrap that they were saying that the decision is likely due to the logistical challenges because the Galactic Starcruiser, you had to come in you'd take the shuttle, which was the retrofitted boxcar truck.
The boxcar, yeah.
The box trucks. And they said it's impractical to repurpose the space for park guests. It's not really. You just drive up to the building and then check in for your reservation. But for whatever reason, it's impractical. I think it's called, they don't want to pay for Lake Nona, so they're just doing their Lake Nona with something they already own. Is what I think is going on.
Lake Naboo.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Nick Naboo. But they said that even though they're not going to use the Galactic Starcruiser for a dinner theater, they are revisiting the concept, because we talked about this before. You actually talked about it more, that at Disneyland especially, they were talking about a theater, interactive theater for Star Wars and with dinner.
Yeah. So, some of the original plans that they scrapped, the original plans for Galaxy's Edge were good. The original plans for Galaxy's Edge, it was supposed to be based on the original trilogy, and you can still see parts of that because it's obviously supposed to be Tatooine and Endor. Batuu is supposed to be Tatooine and Endor, right? And but they changed it to the sequel trilogy because of Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy thinking they had lightning in a bottle with The Force Awakens. Then they really should have waited until the sequels were done to see how the public would react to the whole trilogy, right? Whereas the original trilogy is evergreen. But they were going to do an immersive dinner theater thing, kind of like they do at Potter. Harry Potter with a leaky cauldron. It was going to be immersive. And then they were
but they were also going to have like a show though too.
They were going to have like a show. Yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, could you imagine if they had like Sunny Eclipse times 100, where you had like Jabba the Hutt or something come out, and you had like the Max Rebo band, and you had, I mean, that would be, you know what? I don't like Disney Star Wars, but if you based it on that, and you had the Max Rebo band or something, animatronic, I would actually go to that. I would actually go to that. I'd pay to go to that.
Well, if it was Oga's Cantina, I think it was based on Mos Eisley Cantina, and they could have, had stuff from there,
Yeah.
like you said, Rex, the different things. Like, who was it? The Cantina band.
Yeah, the Cantina band. They had Rex over there, but it's not the same. Like, people want to go, they want to be immersed in the movies they know and love. And the only universally loved trilogy at this point is the original trilogy. Everybody loves the original trilogy. People are split on the prequels. People are split on the sequels. Original trilogy would have been Money in the Bank, but no. They knew better.
Yeah, right.
They knew better.
The early plans for the Cantina were going to be like a dinner show type situation, probably like a table service instead of the quick service that it became. So now they're circling back to that reportedly. So they're going to look into opening probably some kind of dinner theater experience as part of Galaxy's Edge, which is probably something that ironically the Imagineers will work on at Galaxy's Edge.
Just take it. Just take the damn thing offline, retheme it, reskin it, original trilogy, admit that you effed up, right? And just take the L and move forward. That's all you have to do. Like, I think people be understanding. If you said, hey, we're going to take Galaxy's Edge offline for a year and we're going to retheme it and we're going to bring in Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Darth Vader, all the characters you expected to be in Galaxy's Edge when we first announced it, Money in the Bank.
Right. Well, they might go back since it didn't work for the hotel. That's an awfully expensive lesson to learn. $1 billion for this. It didn't work. They had to shut it down within like a couple of years. I don't think it was even that long. And I think it was like March 2022 to September 2023 or something like that. And after all that, they're gonna take a tax write down. They're gonna shut it down, just turn it into offices. And
well, they can't, as part of the tax write down. I don't think they're allowed to. They're not allowed to use it. Like, you can't take the tax off and use it for something that's guest
probably it's probably a big part of it. But I also think, like you mentioned to me earlier, that like Nona was canceled and now they're moving everything that they were kind of planning on that because it was for Imagineering into this, and they're saying this is right now for these projects that are coming. They're going to take a few years, but they'll have permanent offices there probably for a while.
And it might be a permanent thing. I mean, this is what's so sad about Disney World is they have all these like empty repurposed buildings and, the attractions, they just let them die. And then they go chase something subpar, right? They go like a lot of the changes they're making currently, people are not on board with at all. But they're going to go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, there are attractions that they've been begging to revert to their former glory, like Journey to Imagination. We've got, the Wonders of Life Pavilion. You mentioned that. That's just sitting there. All this stuff that they have that they could repurpose, that they could bring it back. And they just don't. They just don't do it. And they just build and waste. I mean, there's so much waste at Walt Disney World. I mean, $1 billion for this hotel. And they really thought they had something. Like they were going to build another one in Disneyland. They were going to, maybe build
they're like,
another parks.
It failed because people didn't understand what it was. It's like probably partly, but that's not the big reason it failed. You based it on the wrong trilogy and too expensive.
Yes. And I think before it's all said and done, I mean, the only thing that makes sense, honestly, is if you're going to keep Galaxy's Edge and make it based on Star Wars, is revert it to the original trilogy, because that's what people know. That's what people love. That's the only viable trilogy that you have across the board that everybody loves. That is your best shot, because you're banking on original trilogy merchandise anyway to save your ass. I mean, every time Disney needs money from Star Wars, it's not the sequel stuff that's selling. It's not the cartoon stuff that's selling. It's not the prequel stuff. It's always the original trilogy.
Yep.
So just bite the bullet, just take it down for a year, repurpose it, relaunch it. And I think, honestly, a lot of people, you get rave reviews. You don't even really have to do much.
They're not going to do that. We already established they're not going to do that. So it is what it is. They might be putting a restaurant in. So there you go.
Good luck. All right. Are we going to wrap this up?
Yes.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.